This man controlled 90% of America's oil. When the government shattered his empire to stop him, he actually became richer. This is the story of John D. Rockefeller, the world's first billionaire. July 8, 1839, a baby was born into poverty in upstate New York. His name was John Davidson Rockefeller. His mother was a devout Baptist who believed in honesty and hard work. His father believed in none of those things. William Avery Rockefeller, known as Devil Bill, was a con artist. He sold fake cancer cures to the dying. He swindled farmers. He cheated everyone he met, including his own children. Devil Bill had a philosophy: I cheat my boys every chance I get. I want to make them sharp. One day, he placed young John on a high chair. "Jump, son, I'll catch you." The boy jumped. The father stepped back. John crashed to the floor. Remember, never trust anyone completely, not even me. That was John's education. Trust is weakness. The world is a battlefield. By 1849, Devil Bill abandoned the family completely. He fled to Canada, took a new name, and lived a double life for 50 years. John never forgot. At 16, John became obsessed with the one thing that never lied: numbers. He got a job as a bookkeeper, earning 50 cents a day, recording every penny in a small red book he called Ledger A. By age 20, he'd saved $800. To start a real business, he needed more, so he asked his father for money. Devil Bill lent him $1,000, but charged his own son 10% interest just to keep you sharp. John took the money and started a produce business with a partner named Morris Clark. Then 1859 happened, the Pennsylvania oil strike. Cleveland became refinery central. "John, this oil business is chaos. People will always need to eat." No, people will always need to see in the dark. Oil is the light. Against his partner's wishes, John built an oil refinery, but the partnership couldn't survive. By 1865, they held a private auction to decide who got the business. The bidding climbed: 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. "John, walk away." 72,500. Clark realized John would bid until he was bankrupt or dead. "I'm done. The business is yours." John D. Rockefeller had won. "That was the day that determined my career," he later said. Now he was the master. He renamed the company Rockefeller and Andrews and applied his bookkeeper mindset to oil. Most refiners dumped waste into rivers. Rockefeller saw money disappearing. If we can't burn it, we sell it. He turned refinery waste into lubricating oil and wax. He bought forests to make his own barrels. By cutting out every middleman, he could sell cheaper than anyone and still profit. By age 30, he owned the largest refinery in Cleveland. Most men would have stopped there, but John looked at the hundreds of small refineries around him and saw a mess ruining the industry. "I will take these broken pieces and forge them into one, and I will be the one." January 10, 1870, John D. Rockefeller incorporated the Standard Oil Company. He was building a machine to swallow every competitor. To do it, he didn't look at oil wells, he looked at the railroads. They were desperate for business, slashing rates to compete. Rockefeller made them an offer. "Gentlemen, I can guarantee you 60 carloads of oil every single day, and in exchange, I want a secret partnership." This was the South Improvement Company, a cartel between refiners and railroads with three ruthless pillars. First, Rockefeller got massive discounts on shipping. Second, railroads gave him detailed reports on his rivals, where they shipped, who they sold to, at what price. Third, the kill shot. Every time a competitor shipped oil, the railroad took their money and gave it to Rockefeller. He would invite competitors to his office and lay out the math. "You see the rates, friend. I am being paid for every barrel you ship. Sell to me now, or you will be crushed. Your choice." One by one, they sold. By 1879,
Rockefeller sat atop 90% of the entire industry. He had won. But now he had a problem. When you own 90% of the world, you have a target on your back. By 1882, Standard Oil was a sprawling web of companies across multiple states. Back then, a company in one state couldn't legally own stock in another. His empire was held together by handshakes. It was fragile. So his lawyers invented something new, a ghost that could own everything and answer to no one. They pooled 40 companies into one entity controlled by 9 trustees. It was called the trust, a legal shell game. If regulators asked who owned a refinery, the answer was a maze leading nowhere. From his office at 26 Broadway, Rockefeller optimized the world. He was obsessed with perfection. He once ordered factories to use exactly 39 drops of solder to seal kerosene tins. 40 was waste, 38 leaked. That one drop saved millions. But his vision went beyond America. He flooded Asia with blue kerosene tins and gave away millions of lamps for free in China. If you give a man a lamp, you own his nights. He drove kerosene prices from 30 cents to 8 cents a gallon. For the first time in history, the poor could afford light after sunset. By the 1890s, Rockefeller was worth over $900 million, 1.5% of the entire American economy. But as the empire grew, the man withered. His hair fell out completely, his eyebrows, his eyelashes. He became hairless, wearing rotating wigs to look normal. He lived on crackers and milk because his nerves destroyed his digestion. And while he hid in his office, a new enemy was sharpening her pen. 1902, a woman named Ida Tarbell began investigating Standard Oil. Her father had been an independent oil man. She watched Rockefeller's machine crush her family's business. This was revenge. For 2 years, she hunted proof. She found former employees, secret contracts. She mapped the rebates, the spy networks, everything. Then she exposed something worse, Devil Bill. The public learned Rockefeller's father was a wanted criminal living a double life under a fake name. The deacon's mask was ripped away. Rockefeller couldn't control it. He retreated as public awe turned to hatred. Tarbell's book became the most dangerous in America. It gave President Theodore Roosevelt the ammunition he needed. May 15, 1911, the Supreme Court delivered its verdict. Standard Oil was an unreasonable monopoly. The empire must be destroyed. The trust shattered into 34 pieces. Those fragments became Exxon, Mobil, Chevron. At 72, the world thought Rockefeller had lost. Actually, he didn't lose ownership. He still held stock in all 34 companies. Free from legal shackles, their value exploded. By 1916, as the world moved from kerosene to gasoline, front pages confirmed it. John D. Rockefeller had become the world's first billionaire. $1 billion when the average American earned $800 a year. He had outlasted his father, his competitors, and the government itself. But he had one final enemy: time. He hired PR experts to scrub his image, appearing as a kindly grandfather handing dimes to children. He founded the University of Chicago and the Rockefeller Foundation, funding research that saved millions of lives. Was it guilt, awakening, or the final con of a man who knew history is written by winners? On May 23, 1937, the machine stopped. John D. Rockefeller died at 97. He missed his goal of 100, but he hit his other goal, $100,000, by a margin that defies comprehension. As he once said, "I believe the power to make money is a gift from God, and it is my duty to make money, and still more money, and use it for the good of my fellow man, according to the dictates of my conscience.